Coming up, 8 soldiers are injured after a military vehicle crashes at Fort Chaffee.
We'll have the latest on their condition, including one soldier who had to be life-flighted from the scene. Plus, a chemical spill on Saturday still causing problems in Fort Smith.
To find out that it houses chemicals was kind of an alarming thing.
We'll hear more from people nearby and about how long the cleanup could take.
And U.S. Marshals arrest a man today after he took off during a traffic stop. Turns out, though, it wasn't who they were originally looking for. We'll have the latest from U.S. Marshals coming up. First, though, it's been a very nice start to the work week, although we are tracking chances of rain and maybe even some severe weather back in the forecast for this week. Thanks for joining us for your 5 News at 6. I'm Darren Bobb.
And I'm Morgan Wrigley. Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert is in the 5 News Weather Center with the first look at tonight's forecast and what may or may not be in store for tomorrow.
That's exactly right, Morgan. It was a nice day, as Darren alluded to as well. There were some winds, though. Did you notice those? They're not going to be going anywhere. They may let up a little bit tonight, but we're still talking that 10 to 20 mile per hour range. And then they're right back breezing again tomorrow. Out of the south, which is pulling in some more moisture, which does give us at least a chance of some scattered showers, maybe even a clap of thunder tonight. Now, the severe weather odds for tonight are relatively low. These shower storms likely roll in after midnight tonight. And while I'm not going to rule out some spotty activity, let's say south of Interstate 40, you'll see the bulk of it likely remains towards the north. This is now 3 a.m. overnight. We're talking some scattered showers, maybe a good heavy downpour if we're lucky. And then we're going to be mostly dry tomorrow. That does change late tomorrow afternoon into the evening, as we do anticipate at least a few strong storms, a couple of which could be severe. Not going to be much in the way of coverage, but those that do develop will have the capability of growing into some severe thunderstorms pretty quickly. It's all part of a cold front that does bring a nice quick shot of some cooler air before we really warm up going into the weekend. There's a lot of twists and turns over the next 7 days. We'll break it all down for you in just minutes.
Thank you, Scott. We're following developing news tonight in Fort Smith, where we're now learning 8 National Guard members were hurt after a military vehicle accident. Yeah, it happened this morning around 11 o'clock during a training exercise at Fort Chaffee. One soldier was injured and described as serious, and were evacuated by air to Washington Regional in Fayetteville. The National Guard says that soldier had surgery and is stable tonight. 7 others were treated at Mercy Fort Smith. 4 returned to duty. All of the soldiers were part of the 1st Battalion 142nd Field Artillery Brigade, which is based out of Northwest Arkansas. That group regularly trains at Fort Chaffee. The type of vehicle involved in the crash is known as a heavy expanded mobility tactical truck. Crash happened during an ongoing training operation that's happening through May 16th. The Guard says training will continue as planned. An investigation into exactly what caused it is underway. We'll provide any more information, of course, as more details are made public. Work continues to clean up a massive sulfuric acid leak in South Fort Smith. That acid made its way to the drainage system and now even in backyard creeks. It's affecting more than just Highway 271 South and the surrounding streets. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman spoke to residents who say it's affecting the creek several blocks away.
The fire department says a sulfuric acid storage tank failed just after 11 a.m. Saturday, releasing chemicals into the roadway and toward storm drains. Crews rushed to contain the spill, where 120,000 gallons of acid leaked out. They used absorbents and neutralizing agents to get the cleanup started. The sulfuric acid leaked from this building right here and onto the roads, and Fort Smith Fire Department tells me they used sodium bicarbonate to dilute the solution, which created this whiteness on the roads. But that didn't stop it there. It leaked almost 5 blocks away into this creek, killing these fish and turning the water brown. Residents who own a house next to the creek, like Frank Prater, say they had no idea until someone knocked on their door.
Someone from the government came by the house and told us that there had been a chemical spill, to be careful with letting the pets or other activities go on near the creek. After we drove out to the main road, we saw the chemicals on the road, and then we saw the workers cleaning it up with their hazmat suits on.
But that wasn't Prater's biggest concern.
I've lived here 16 years, and I never knew what that building was used for. So to find out that it houses chemicals, it was kind of an alarming thing. You might see neighborhood children wading in the creek or something like that. My grandson likes to fish in the creek.
Other residents I spoke to say the smell of the acid stayed around for days, and it's still killing off the wildlife. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.
We did reach out to all other parties involved and haven't received a response yet. We do know Arkansas Game and Fish is on scene to investigate more. We'll keep you updated on the investigation on our website, 5newsonline.com. Well, Arkansas lawmakers are in the midst of a special session. It was called late last week to focus on lowering the state's income tax rates due to a budget surplus. It comes a week after lawmakers approved a $6.7 billion budget for this upcoming fiscal year. And a ribbon cutting today at the University of Arkansas Fort Smith is marking a big step for workforce training in the region. New facilities open with a focus on advanced manufacturing and hands-on learning. 5
News reporter Emily Moss takes us inside this new place and shows us how leaders say it could shape the next generation of workers.
The University of Arkansas Fort Smith celebrating the opening of its new Advanced Manufacturing and Workforce Development Center. Spaces designed to connect students directly with industry and train them using the same technology found in today's workforce.
We want students in every single part of our state, from the River Valley to the Delta, to be well prepared for the jobs of the future. And I'm proud to say that Fort Smith is helping lead the way.
Chancellor Teresa Riley says that preparation starts with access, giving students hand-on experience and a path into their careers.
We have manufacturers all over the River Valley who are bringing in their corporate partners, people from literally across the globe, to see exactly what we're doing here. And of course, they have high hopes that other communities will replicate what we're leading here in Fort Smith.
And the interest reflects a growing need across the region, where thousands of jobs rely on skilled workers, and employers are looking for more.
The trade itself is looked at as an older trade where more people are retiring than what's coming in, and it's a skilled trade that the world needs, the U.S. needs with manufacturing coming back. We need people to be able to run this equipment to make yours and my lives easier.
These new facilities are designed to help close the gap, giving students real-world training on the same equipment used in local factories.
We invested a lot of money in our new technology. A lot of this equipment that's in this room is relevant to what's being used in the factories here.
And the goal is not just training, it's educating the future workforce for whatever comes next.
I love the aha moments when I can take that student that does not have knowledge and bring them up and skill them up and get them to that next point in their life where they're providing for their family at that next level.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Emily Moss, 5 News.
The equipment and renovation was funded by nearly $7 million in investments, with a $1 million gift from ABB and a pair of state grants that totaled about $5.5 million. Governor also announcing today the applications are now open for a new rural health transformation program. It'll provide more than $200 million in funding for projects that expand telehealth, improve emergency response times, and introduce new remote monitoring options for patients. The first round of grants will total $55 million, with additional money going out over the next 3 months.
Learning more about an arrest off College Avenue and Joyce Boulevard today in Fayetteville, where U.S. Marshals say officers made that arrest after a short foot chase, but the suspect is not who they were originally searching for. This is video captured shortly after the person was arrested near the Discount Tire store. Marshals say the person's vehicle matched the description of who they were looking for, and they ran on foot after a traffic stop. They later identified them as a person on federal probation and now face an additional charge of fleeing. U.S. Marshals did not reveal any other information about the suspect they were searching for in Fayetteville. Well, Fort Smith police arrest a man in connection with a robbery that happened over the weekend. Joshua Reed is accused of taking a woman's vehicle by force on Worthing Avenue. The victim suffered minor injuries during the robbery. The police say they arrested Reed when he returned to the victim's home and locked himself inside. Investigators believe the suspect and the victim knew each other before the crime. Reed is being held in the Sebastian County Jail.
An investigation continues tonight after nearly 24 people were hurt over the weekend in a shooting in Edmond, Oklahoma. O'clock last night in Arcadia Lake Park during an unsanctioned party with people from across the Oklahoma City metro area. 7 patients remain hospitalized tonight. Edmond police have not revealed any information about a suspect. They say investigators are reviewing surveillance video and taking witness statements.